Hey everybody, it's Alicia from the Masterpiece Society, and this is our last day of quick and simple and fun, brightly colored spring art lessons. So give me just a second to pull myself up on my Mac so I can make sure that you can see what I'm working on. When you tune in, just let me know you're here and where you're watching from. Make sure I'm muted. All right, so I just want to show you the ones that we've done all week long. So this is our Chick Watercolor Resist that we did Monday. On Tuesday, we did the butterfly in acrylics on top of a flower. Then Wednesday, we had to do this disgusting beetle, our rainbow beetle. And yesterday, we did this fancy flower using watercolors and gel pens. So those are the past 4 projects that we have done. And today we're going to do a watercolor bunny with some doodle lettering that says Hoppy Spring. Now, if you don't have watercolors, then you can use markers on this. This one is super, super simple. And I have shown you how to trace the pattern. If you haven't already gotten the templates, then go to masterpiecesociety.com/color and you can enter your email address to receive this 30-page coloring book. It's basically templates from 30 of our art lessons. We have hundreds and hundreds of art lessons in the Masterpiece Society, and this is the first time we've actually released some of our templates, and they are free for you to use for coloring sheets for your little ones, or as templates for art projects and watercolors, which is what we're doing. We're not actually doing the same projects that we do in the Masterpiece Society, but we are just using them and kind of springboarding off those projects. So basically all you do is print out the template that you want to use, scribble on the back with graphite or charcoal, and then you take that and you can center it on your paper if you want to, but I had Olivia do this one a little off center because we want to have some room to write. So I've already got mine drawn out, and I am going to clear some of this stuff off my art table so that I'm not knocking it around. You will need a Sharpie or a black marker, and I'm going to do the doodle lettering with just some washable Crayola markers at the end. But for the bunny's body, I'm going to do watercolors. Now, let me just grab my eraser, because the pattern we do a project with this one where we do a different belly, so you can make yours look like an Easter egg in the center of the belly if you want to, but I'm just gonna do it solid right now. And let me grab my spray bottle. Got my watercolor tray here. I'm just going to squirt that down. And I'm going to dip my brush in my water, and just like this bunny is turquoise, I'm gonna, you know what, maybe I will go with a deeper blue. It's kind of turquoise, but it's it's more of a sky blue. And let me just show you this real quick. This bunny's eyes come down, they have these little points underneath. Well, hello Alyssa, I'm glad you are joining us from Illinois. My son said he looked like he needed some sleep. So in this one, I just left off the bottom little parts. You can do whatever kind of eyes on your bunny you want. You can make yours look drowsy like the template, but I did change him up. All right, so if you are watching, let us know where you're watching from, and if you're watching on the replay, type replay and let us know where you were watching from. And don't forget to post your kids' finished pieces so that you will be entered into a drawing. Today's the last day, and I will draw the winners this probably tomorrow to give everybody some time, and maybe we'll announce it Monday. We will get some happy mail sent out for all of us who've been cooped in way too long. So basically I'm just taking my blue and I am following the pattern that we've traced out. I am being really careful around the ears because I want to come back in a little bit and add in a different color. And I'm also being careful around the eyes. You can cover up the whiskers. You can cover up the nose if you want to, but I think I will just go ahead and put a little outline there, and I'll come back with my markers and fill that in a bit. I use, someone had asked what type of brushes I use, and these are the silver black velvet brushes, and they're a little bit on the expensive side, but to me they are the best watercolor brushes I've ever used. And I've tried the cheap ones, I've bought other brands, but these are so good. I love that they stay pointed and I can do these little lining, you know, just line around things a little bit easier. I could actually do a better job if I didn't go so quick, but we want to get this watercolor on and give it a chance to dry so that we can come back in and color in the rest of the bunny's features. Kind of fill in those white spots I've got going there. All right, and I'm just gonna drag, well, let's put a little bit more color on my brush. I'm not dipping my brush in water. I have a little bit of water on my tray from my paints, so I'm just dipping it back in the color, and that keeps my colors bright and vivid. If you want your colors to be softer, then you can add more water to your brush. Now here, I'm gonna be really careful with this stem. If I go over it, it's not a big deal because I'm doing a blue bunny, and I will come back with a green marker and fill that in. But if you want to skip over it just a bit, then go ahead. That's what I've done here. And then here is part of the rabbit's body. And then here's the other part where we're outlining the stem there. Just gonna leave that there to remind me. Once I get carried away, I might forget. So as you can see, when Olivia traced this out for me, I forgot to tell her that I wasn't going to do the center of the tummy, but it's really cute because you can see that the watercolors are going into those grooves, and you can see the egg shape of the tummy. If you want to leave that in the pattern, then just watercolor around it and let that dry before you try to put another watercolor, or you can come back in with a marker when your watercolor's dry. All right, so I'm moving right along. Get his feet painted in, and then once I get his feet painted in, that's all I'm gonna do with watercolors. So once again, if you don't have watercolors, just grab some markers or crayons, oil pastels, chalk pastels, acrylic paint, whatever you have will work. All right, so I am trying to see where that stem comes. All right, super simple. Got the bunny mostly covered. I see a few little white areas. We're gonna leave him, let him dry a bit, and wipe off my brush so I don't forget. Now, I will let you know that when I did this one, I wasn't really paying attention. In the project that we do in the Masterpiece Society, we do the Hoppy here and the Spring here. And so that's what I want to do because I have this big white space. If you want to do it like this and maybe draw an Easter basket with some eggs in it and then put some grass around it, that would be awesome. So make this your own piece. Do it however you want to. What I'm going to do now is move my water out of the way and grab my Sharpie. And I'm going to do something called doodle lettering. And basically all that is you just make up the way you want your letters to look. I'm gonna sit this here so I can see what I did to begin with. So I'm gonna make them all different sizes and shapes, and I'm gonna use some cursive and some print, and I'm gonna make them go up and go down. So actually I'm not gonna start up here. I'm gonna start right here. This is gonna say Hoppy, and this is gonna say Spring. So first of all, I'll start out with just some blocks for the H. And the reason I want to have something like, I'm not just doing sticks for my H, I want to have something to color in. And so obviously we're not going to say happy because we have a bunny and he's Hoppy. So I'm going to make my O, but my O is going to be a cute little flower, because it's springtime and I like flowers. So now my next one is a P, and let's make it a little P. Now I have a stick here, but I can come back and either color in the inside of this P, or I can just trace my marker over the black part. And let's do a bubble letter for this P. So a bubble letter is just kind of like a fat balloon shaped P. We would, instead of doing it something like this, we don't add the corners, we just curve it around. And then we want to do a fancy Y, a cursive Y, and I'm going to make a leaf come off the end of that. So it says Hoppy. And then we will do, let's do Spring right here, or maybe right here. So for this one, I'm just going to do a regular S, but I'm going to come in and make it look like a vine. So I'm going to add little leaves all around it. You don't have to do your letters like my letters. You can make up your own. That's why they're called doodle letters. You just make them up as you go along. All right, so we've got our S. Now let's do a P. What I'm going to do there is just a block with a circle on it and then a little loop to make it look a little more fancy. And then let's do a curly Q R. And then an I with another flower. This time I'm going to make bigger petals on the flower. So we may not be able to see all the petals because we have it going behind the R. And then just a cute little cursive N. And let's do a swirly G. So, like I said, just make yours however you want to make them. Excuse me. I'm going to come in here now that my watercolor is dry. And I'm going to add some black dots for my rabbit's eyes. He's actually not quite dry, so I need to be a little bit careful. And then I'm going to outline him. I'm going to give him some eyelashes. Now I'm going to find my markers, which I misplaced, but I just actually laid the template over them. And I'm going to pull out all these bright spring colors. So let's leave this lighter blue out. I'm going to want a purple, but I'll put away my dark blue, red. Those are still awesome colors. I just like Easter egg colors. Olivia, will you please get Lily some food? The loudest cat in the house is mewing for food. She doesn't know that she needs to be quiet while I'm doing a Facebook Live. So let's go ahead and take this pink color and color inside the ears as long as your watercolors are dry. And we'll give him a purple nose. Him or her, it doesn't matter. Don't worry, we will come back and outline the entire bunny with the black. And then I'm going to make my flower yellow, give it yellow petals. But you can make yours any color you want. You can do it like the fancy rainbow flower we did yesterday, or you can do it in your favorite color. And if you want to do this whole project with watercolors, then go right ahead. We'll give it an orange center. He's still a little wet here, but I'm going to be very careful and color in my stem and my leaf. And so now we can actually go in. I'm gonna color all the leaves that I drew. Oh, let's finish that off. In fact, let's make it a little bit more colorful by outlining the whole Y. And then color in all these leaves. And let's add some blue in. Let's add some blue to this little R there. You can actually do yours in a pattern, or you can mix up the colors. I'm mixing them up. And what I'm going to do is just come here and just add some little spirals or swirls and make it look like these are roses or some kind of flower growing off my S. Let's color the center of this flower. And then maybe give this flower some yellow petals. And we need some more purple. So let's go ahead and just outline this P. Make it a little bit brighter, and then color in that P. And orange. The stem probably needs to be green, and let's give the center of it another orange shade. And then we will end with pink. Just trace the swirls around. And so we're basically done. All we need to do is take our Sharpie, or if you don't have a Sharpie, just use your black marker. Make sure that your watercolor is good and dry before you use a washable marker, because that might be a little bit disastrous. So I'm just going to come in and follow the lines that I traced. Get that nose and mouth, and of course the whiskers. So be real careful when you come here by the stem, and just outline the paw and the arm, and then up here. And then you can come in and add in a few little stripes to make it look like he's got, they're not really his fingers because rabbits don't have fingers, they have toes. So, but this one has fingers because it's weird. I mean, how many blue rabbits have you seen in real life? Give him some toes there. And let's not forget our flower. And then you can very carefully outline the stem. This is probably a little too thick to be outlining the stem with, but that's okay. And then just add a little bit of veins to your leaf, and we are all done. All right, so all you need for this one again is watercolors, and then, or you could just simply do the whole project with markers.